Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This will be my first episode in a series I will officially dub the Renaissance Art Beefs. And the reason why I am using OneNote is because I do not know how to animate, so in typical Frank fashion, I found a scuffed way to make this video happen. Without any further ado, let's hop straight into the video. So the title of this video is Giotto, as in Giotto, but who is Giotto? Well, we don't exactly have a photograph of him, considering he was born in the late 1200s and cameras weren't exactly a thing yet back in the day. So, um, yeah, and also there weren't any portraits of him that still survive when he was alive. So, we really don't know what he looks like for real, um, but we do have a posthumous portrait of him though, and here's how one artist portrayed him. So that's pretty cool. But to get to the actual story of this video, we have to travel back into the past to when Giotto was just a little child. As a young lad, Giotto was a shepherd's boy, and on some unspecified day in the late 1200s, he was walking along in his pasture, tending to his flock of sheep, just doing his thing and letting his sheep do their thing on the grass. Eventually, though, he got bored and just started drawing on the dirt. And some sources say he started drawing on a rock, so that's pretty dope. And while he's drawing, a random passerby walks along the pasture and he notices our protagonist, Giotto, and he peeks over and sees what this shepherd boy is doing. To his surprise, this young boy demonstrated an incredible talent for drawing. And I don't know what he drew exactly, but it must have been nice because it caught Cimabue's eyes. Oh, right. Yeah, so this random passerby, he's actually named Cimabue, and he's a master artist in his own right. So why don't we take a little bit and segue into who Cimabue actually is? So this is what Cimabue looked like, uh, at least how one artist rendered him as. So this is Giorgio Vasari, and he's the first modern European art historian, and he wrote uh, a compilation of biographies of various artists. And the first artist that he talked about was Cimabue, and and this is the book that I was talking about. And Vasari talks about how Cimabue style of painting is completely unlike that of the Greca Magniera, or the Greek style of painting. I'm just going to insert a couple examples here and here. And something that you can see immediately is the linear style of these paintings. So it sounds a bit abstract, so let's take a look at an actual painting by Cimabue and see how it differs from these paintings that are reminiscent of the Greek era. So this painting right here is called the Santa Trinita Maesta. It depicts the Madonna and Child surrounded by prophets. Zara described how Cimabue had done away with the Manera Greca, with all their harsh lines, their rough, rude, and vulgar style. And we also see how the Madonna in Cimabue's rendition is soft, lively, and natural, and how the draperies actually have a three-dimensional quality to it. We don't really see that with the other paintings that I showed you earlier, and I think that's pretty dope. Yeah, so the story just goes on that Cimabue takes Giotto as a student, so that's pretty cool. And what is cooler is that Giotto actually paints his own painting of the Madonna and Child, and it's called the Agnasanti Madonna. And prepare to have your mind blown away because to the artists back in the day, this was a complete revolution for them. Here we can see how the Madonna is firmly seated in a well-defined three-dimensional space, which is something that Cimabue doesn't accomplish in his painting. We also see how the draperies of the Madonna has a more three-dimensional quality than that of Cimabue's. But then, I mean, just look at the modeling of the folds of the Madonna's clothing, and we can actually see how the Madonna's knees are beneath the garments that she's wearing, and we really get a sense of the Madonna's volume in this painting as well. So let's take a look at the paintings side by side and talk a little bit more about the differences between these paintings. So one thing that I want to bring to your attention is the gesture of the Madonna here in these paintings, and particularly in Cimabue's, the Madonna's hand is pointing at the child. So, you know, it's literally pointing at the Christ child. And Count Giotto's, the Madonna's hand is actually not, in fact, pointing at the Christ child, but is instead focused on gazing at the mirror. So while Cimabue's painting follows the Byzantine tradition of, oops, forgot to move my mouth. So while Cimabue's painting follows the Byzantine tradition of depicting the icon that is the Virgin Mary, and Giotto's rendition, he may not have conceived his painting as a purely devotional painting. Perhaps he thought of his painting more as just a painting to be admired in its own right. I'm not sure if anyone has read Dante's Divine Comedy, but in the poem, he talks a little bit about how Giotto's rise as a complete revolutionary in painting dimmed Cimabue's shine. And the more you study the history of the Renaissance, the more you realize that it's a story of painters and apprentices, a story of the student surpassing their teacher. And as a side note, I'm sorry, guys, I'm stumbling over my words. It's late at night. I need sleep. And it's finals period. But I'm trying to get this out for y'all. But as a side note, I'm not actually sure if Cimabue had beat the Giotto. All I know is that in Vasari's Lives, he talked a little bit about how Giotto or how Cimabue actually had like temper issues and how he would often destroy the artworks of apprentices if they weren't deemed of a good enough quality. Um, but yeah, that's all I wanted to really say in this video. I hope everyone enjoyed the video. Hope it wasn't too overwhelming or underwhelming. And yeah, let me know what you guys thought of this video in the comments below. And yeah, I'll drop more videos on Renaissance beefs. I think the next one I'm gonna do is between Filippo Brunelleschi and Lorenzo Ghiberti. So stay tuned for that. Anyways, have a good night, y'all. Ciao.